Hello, welcome to a tutorial by UI Inspirations. Make sure to check out the rest of the tutorials on the playlist that is right here, probably somewhere around here. And without further ado, let's jump right into the video.
Now that we have all our assets ready in our design, it's time for us to start adding elements to this first screen that we were designing. Now, from now on, I'm going to be working on the Windows version of Adobe Experience Design. There is a thing that I have already noticed that isn't available yet on Windows and is available on Mac, and that is to be able to have a grid helping us design our application better. Now, right now, it may not be that big of a deal at the moment that we start designing this application, but as you move forward on designing your applications, you need more attention to detail and you add more specific things, it may be noticeable that you need a grid for you to be able to create your design perfectly. However, for the purpose of what we're about to create, we can do so without any grid whatsoever. So the first thing that I'm going to add is this email text box that is going to allow the user to enter some text. I already have the logo. The next thing would be to have this text box. All I have to do is click the R key on my keyboard so I'm able to start drawing a rectangle, and I'm going to draw a rectangle with some margin to both sides of the screen. And now I can change back with the V key to the select tool and drag it so it is aligned to the center and a little bit below the center of the screen horizontally. Now I'm going to have this already, and let me change the design a little bit. I want the border to be a little thicker, so I'm going to change this from 1 to 2, and I like how it looks now. I'm going to leave the fill as white, and currently I'm not going to be adding anything else. What I want to do is add the password text box. And to be able to do that, I could draw another one of these rectangles, or I could just Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V, but Adobe Experience Design has a slight feature that makes this a little bit faster. All I have to do on Mac is click on the Option key, or on Windows on the Alt key, and at the moment I do that, notice that the item selected now has, all I have done right now is press the Alt key on my Windows PC. If you're on a Mac, you will have to press the Option key, but notice how the item selected now has these helpers letting you know the spacing for each side of the screen. The other thing that allows you to do is that as soon as you start dragging, you see how the item has been duplicated without needing to do anything else. Now, right now it's a little bit off because I could be dragging this around, and even though I have these helpers to let me know that they are aligned, it could be very easily unaligned to the item that I have just duplicated. If I want this to be aligned, all I have to do is type the Alt key and add the Shift key. And now I drag it and notice how I am unable to move it around. Rather, this is constrained to be aligned to the item that I am duplicating. So I am going to use this to create this new text box, which is going to be for the password. And I am going to do so as well one last time, a little bit below the other items to make this the sign in button. Now I am going to be adding the text, so all I have to do is type the T key, so I'm now in the text tool. And the first thing that I'm going to add is an email label in here for the first text box. I am going to escape, so this item is no longer selected. Click on V, on the V key, so I am now on the select tool. Going to drag this around to be centered with this element. And I am going to Alt Shift again, so I duplicate this element and add the password label. I am going to duplicate this one more time and I'm going to drag it all the way down. I am also going to align this a little bit to the left, and this is going to be reading "forgot your password." And I am going to duplicate this one more time, and this new label is going to be for the register. And finally, I am going to add a sign in label for the button. I am going to escape, go to the select tool and align this to the center of what will play the role of a button. So currently I already have all of the elements that I need inside of my design, but of course this design isn't ready. This already has the elements, but it doesn't have the design that I want eventually. Now, of course, the way you design your sign-in page is going to depend entirely on your imagination, your creativity, and maybe what your brand is looking to present at the very first moment that the user is going to be seeing this. Remember that this page is actually going to be most likely the first page that a user sees when they have your application. So all I'm going to show you right now is how to edit these elements a little bit. The first thing that we're actually going to do is change the name of the artboard. So all I have to do is double click on the name and start typing something like sign in page. And now my artboard has a different name to it. The next thing we can do is go ahead and change the style for this element in here. And what I want to do is make it a little bit smaller. So I'm going to change this to 15, which happens to be a little too small. I'm going to try with 17 and I'm going to try with 18. And I do like this size now. I am going to align this again so it's centered to the text box. I am going to change this to 18 as well and make it centered as well and aligned with the email text. I'm also going to change this element, which is now going to be probably 15. 15 works. And for this one, I'm also going to change the fill. And remember that we have already saved the colors that we're going to be using for this application. So it's really easy for us to see the colors that we can use immediately that we have saved in this small library. And it happens that for this element, I have to use this greenish, bluish kind of color. So all I have to do is click on it and it's now applied to the element. I am going to do the same with the registered text, first making this smaller and then change its fill to the same color. And finally, I want to change the style for the button. So I'm going to select this element and I'm actually going to delete its border, but I am going to add a fill to it. So it's now the same color that these two elements below have. Now the next thing is to change the text, which I'm going to change to have a fill of an entirely white color. So I am going to add 6 Fs to the hexadecimal value. I am going to make this 18 as well. And I am going to align it again to the center of the button. So there you have it. We have created this sign-in page design. Of course, you don't have to follow the exact same rules. You can do many different things in a sign-in page. And what I do want you to do is for you to grab your creativity and put it inside of this new page. Do whatever comes into your mind. What I usually do when I'm out of ideas is go to Pinterest and search for some ideas for what I'm looking for and try to apply them to my design, to my application. At the end of the day, when you have this design ready, I also want you to please, if you can and you want, of course, go ahead and share a screenshot of this first page of your design. All you have to do is go ahead and go to the export section and say that you're going to export this and export all artboards if you want, or if it's faster for you, you can just take a screenshot of the page and share it. Please share it so we can get inspired with your design, or maybe we can give you some tips on what you can change or some colors that you can apply, etc. So really, please go ahead and share with the community in the discussion for this lecture what you have created during this video.
Thanks for watching this video. I hope that you learned a lot and I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to drop a like on the video right down over there. I will be linking the entire course in the description of the video. Make sure to check that out because you do have access to a very good discount. And as always, comment down below if you have any doubts or any questions about Adobe Experience Design or anything that you just learned in the video. and I'll make sure to answer as quickly as I can. Again, thanks a lot for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.